Right. Good morning, everyone. We'll give a couple of minutes. So we'll start at 10:05 because we have few people signed up, but I think they're still joining. So it's a black and white combination here.
Yep.
In the running medals.
It's running well. Oh yeah. Center. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Better?
Now you're sitting on my lap. No worries. No worries. Right. Why don't we share the screen? Yeah.
Yeah, that would be better.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
Hey, hopefully everybody can see our screen. Libby, can you confirm?
Yep, I can confirm.
Can you see the screen? Yeah.
Yep.
Brilliant. Brilliante. Right. Got the reported and everything.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody joining. Okay. Oh, Adam being a nice host. Right. Okay. Why don't you do the intro first? Tell them who you are.
Yeah. So
knock
for
them
my
dead.
intro.
Knock them dead. Yeah.
My intro. Oh, guys. So people who don't know me, I am a part of TechForce, of course. I'm Abrar. I am a cybersecurity analyst at TechForce, and I basically assist TechForce in doing Cyber Essentials and Cyber Essentials Plus for our clients. And I basically, the assessor, do that job. So yeah, that's my small intro. Do you want me to give this intro as well for the reason why we are here today?
Yeah. Why not? Go.
Yeah, of course. So, guys, we are here to discuss and present you, of course, our cyber trends report, also the cyber security report. Basically, we are just going to dive in to some of the research that we did for the past year and analyze some of the numbers, the events that took place in the past year. And we are going to make or extract knowledge out of those events and see what we can learn from them. We are going to talk about a number of case studies as well, in which basically different attacks were conducted on different private sector as well as government sector. So yeah, um, I hope it's going to be insightful for you and you can learn from it and implement those strategies in your own organization and uh, equip yourself better. So yeah, that's pretty much about it.
Absolutely. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Thanks, Abrar. So
Yeah.
myself, I'm Jay. I'm the CEO and founder of TechForce, UK's leading cybersecurity company based in Aberdeen. So helping customers across UK and out with UK as well. This report, as Abrar said, yeah, it's our team has gone into lots of research and effort, put into lots of efforts into grabbing the information from various places and some survey reports and whatnot, right? And hopefully you will find it insightful today. So the plan is we'll go through the report quickly, probably about 15 to 20 minutes, and then we will have opportunity to ask questions. And I'm sure Abrar will have some questions. I have some questions for Abrar, and we will take it from there. So you will have plenty of opportunity to ask questions, right? So do you want to start, Abrar?
Yeah, sure. So
Yeah.
are we getting
Yeah, I think it's a call, right? Okay.
just
So
it's
it's fine.
yeah, okay. So let's start, guys.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. This is the right. First of all,
yeah, I can do that.
okay. Wait. Yeah. Go on.
Yeah. Okay, guys. So just starting with the introduction, again, I think we have covered it. So I'm just going to be jumping on the table of contents. Again, Firstly, I'm just gonna be talking a little bit about 2023, what events took place. We have some numbers, like how many records were breached, and we're gonna talk about it. The second one, case studies. So I explained earlier.
Yeah.
So cybersecurity trends, then key takeaways, 24/4 trends, and conclusion.
Yeah.
So yeah, the first thing. So a brief retrospective about
Sorry
2023.
to interrupt.
Yeah.
The report will be available to download
Yeah.
straight after this meeting, straight after this call.
Yeah.
So we will, for all the attendees, we will just email you the report, and for rest of the people, we can. It's available to download from the website.
Of course.
So we'll share the link and everything, right? Okay. Sorry. Go on.
Yeah. So as I was saying, so in 2023, 32% of the businesses were breached,
Yeah.
and 24% of them charities were also breached. And if we drill down further, so if I talk about the size, so 59% of those were actually medium businesses, and 69% were large businesses. And there were 56% of high income charities which had like $500,000 or more in their annual income as a revenue. So, yep.
Yeah,
Total
so
number of
that's I think that's 32% small businesses.
Yep.
And then 59%. Yeah. That's the staggering numbers. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So total, if we talk about, so these are 2,814 number of incidents were reported in 2023. Of course, those which were not reported would be much higher.
Yes.
So total number of breached records around 8 billion, 8.2 billion. And if we compare it with one of the biggest data breach in the UK, which was Darkbeam, it had like 3.8 billion breached records.
I think the Darkbeam is a digital records management company
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
And so that's why
Yeah.
they would have so many records. And if you look at the number of breach records are 8.2, and then 3.8 of them are just the one single breach. Almost 40% of the breaches, breach records are from one source. That's incredible.
Insane.
Yeah, insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if we talk about the attacks on the public and private sectors, so 82% of all nation state attacks focused on espionage. So espionage, for those who don't know, basically spying and getting
and
Yeah.
stealing the information,
Stealing the
stealing the
information.
confidential information, and nation state sponsored. These are, as the name itself suggests,
Yeah.
these guys are highly skilled, highly resourceful, and they have resourceful in the sense they have the funding required as well. So yeah. I wonder, I always wonder, right?
Yeah.
Do the hackers or the threat actors, bad actors, do these trend reports as well, like us?
I wish they could.
Right. So anyway, the 82% were just focused nation state sponsored attacks only. 82% of them were focused on stealing the confidential information, right? And of them are, go on.
So yeah, 39% of them were private sectors, whereas 34% were government organizations and 23% civil society.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
40% of them are still looking to steal information from a lot of you. I see in the attendance, most of them are private sector. So yeah, 40% of these nation state sponsored attacks are targeted on private sector companies. So we need to stay vigilant.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, if we talk about the common like threat that are there, so these two, email phishing, ransomware attacks, 81% of them email phishing and 79 ransomware attacks. From my understanding, I believe these two are the ones which are very low effort for hackers to implement.
Yeah, these are the top threats. Although the attacks are becoming more sophisticated and more tactical and whatnot, but still the email phishing. But these are the percentage of the companies that reported. 81% of the companies still reported email phishing as their top threat, and then 79% of them, just behind that, almost the same number, have reported ransomware attacks or their top threat. And the third one, I believe, is the supply chain. That is about 68 to 70%. I know that stat is not on the slide here, but 70% of the companies said supply chain attacks are their top threat. Sure. And I believe the SolarWinds attack and there was some other attack. I forgot the name, but they may have contributed a lot to the supply chain attack, because if you think about SolarWinds attack back in 2020. there were 20,000 companies were affected by that one single, by the breach of one single company, one single incident, right?
Right.
So that's the best example of a supply chain attack, right?
Right.
So 70% of the companies still reported supply chain as their top attack vector.
So the next one, if we get back to the business, so 65% of the businesses experience more than 6 days downtime after a ransomware attack. So that's basically on average a business takes to recover or get back after getting hit by a ransomware. So 29% of those breached organization experience repeated attacks in those 3 years. Yeah.
Yeah, and at least 30% of the businesses have experienced at least one breach in the last 3 years as well, as well as the starts here. The ransomware attack, if you look at FBI, the Internet Crime Report every year, I think it's due out for the 2023 report is due in April 2024. But looking at the last year's report, ransomware reported losses seems minute when you compare to the business email compromise losses, but they don't consider the losses. They don't consider the business recovery time, business downtime, and loss in reputation and whatnot, right? But with the business email attacks like business email compromise, you're losing money straight away, right? That's you can look at the numbers straight away and see. That's what the biggest reason also the business email compromise is the top contributor for the financial loss due to cybercrime. Last year, the businesses lost about $2.7 billion. That's only reported losses. And TechForce have been involved in number of breaches, helping businesses to recover, and most of them are not reported. So, if you think about non-reported losses, there would be even double. Yeah. So,
Right.
yeah.
So of course, any attack, how it damages a company. So you have brand reputation at loss. Like 75% of the companies say that their brand reputation was damaged. 42%, of course, consumer trust. When you're hacked, your customers won't be confident working with you. Again, 42% reported revenue loss due to downtime, and 9% of CIOs are confident that they can recover quickly from attacks. So if you see this number, just 9% of them, that is very low.
That's crazy, isn't it? So I'll give you a quick example of the consumer trust. As small as somebody, I get emails, not all the time, but occasionally once a month or something. I get an email from our existing supplier or a client or somebody we dealt with in the past, and that email says, "Hey, here is a file or here is a purchase order. Please open it." I'm like, it looks very suspicious, right? But if it's coming from a client or a contact you already have a connection with, and you're already thinking, this is a spam email, they had a small breach, and my trust is almost in question already, right? Okay, should I trust this company? So as small as these things, it breaks the trust with the consumer customers, right? So we need to be careful with this. Brand reputation is another thing, and that's I think biggest reason why companies don't want to report report the breaches. So,
Right.
yeah, revenue loss is revenue loss. Yeah, as you know, 6 days downtime for a ransomware incident in the previous slide is how much money are you losing straight away, right? And I have an interesting fact about CIOs as well. I think 29% of the CISOs, like Chief Information Security Officers, started reporting to CIO last year, and only 14% of the CISOs are reporting direct to the CEO. And I think many security professionals are under the opinion or under the belief that the top of the security personnel, that's a CISO, should be reporting to top of the company, which is CEO. Yeah. But only 14% of them are doing now. And it's insane to think that only 9% of the CIOs think they can recover quickly. And that quickly is a relative term as well, isn't it? So quickly can be,
It's relative,
one
subjective.
day for a small business, or maybe quickly can be 15 days for a large business.
Yeah.
A small business out of business for 15 days is they're pretty much out of the business. That's it. There's nothing to recover from.
Is it?
So yeah,
Oh,
quickly is a relative term, isn't it? Yeah.
right. So yeah, I think you have talked about this before as well. So risk management and supply chains. So if we talk about some statistics, so 3 in 10 businesses have undertaken cybersecurity risk assessments in the last year,
Yeah.
rising to 51% of medium businesses and 63% of large businesses. And a similar proportion.
And Abrar, I have a
Yeah.
question for you there.
Yeah.
Why do you think
Yeah.
that there is a disparity between small, medium, and large businesses? And as you grow bigger, the businesses, the percentage is growing big.
I think mainly because in small businesses, you don't have dedicated departments for IT or maybe cyber. I've been in touch with companies that I certify against in Cyber Essentials. So if you talk about companies from the energy sector or maybe from the retail sector, they probably they don't are like really much into IT. So they don't have these systems for the reason why they are coming and certifying themselves. So I think like for small businesses, the main reason why they are not in these numbers is just because they haven't have these technical or cyber controls, and they don't think of cybersecurity as
a priority.
important as a priority.
Yeah. So you're correct. Skill shortage is there,
Yeah.
and I mean skill shortage in the sense the experienced personnel skill shortage is a real problem in cybersecurity. Again, we'll get to that in the next slides, but based on the size of the business, that shortage is real, and also some businesses, small businesses especially, don't see the point of having a security professional or having a security consultant as a full time or even on a contract basis or outsourcing. And as the size grows bigger, then you have IT departments who looks after their security as well, which is great. That's why you have 51%. And then as you grow larger, then they have dedicated security departments and more matured and more skills available in-house, or if not through consultants. Then you have, and the more mature cybersecurity program they have. So that's why you have 63% of the large businesses conduct regular risk assessments. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, if you talk about the monitoring tools, so it's
and I
almost.
wanted to make another point. Sorry
Yeah,
to
no
interrupt.
worries.
Is what we have seen from our experiences again with the small businesses and sometimes medium businesses as well. There is a attitude of reactive versus proactive. Businesses tend to be more reactive than proactive. So small businesses, especially under the impression, nothing happens to us, nobody's interested in our data until something happens, and then they start taking the steps, right? So yeah, sorry, go on.
Yeah. So again, I think it's going to be the same thing. So if you talk about companies who have implemented some monitoring tools, so 53% of medium businesses, and if you talk about the large ones, of course, 72%. I think mainly the reason of this is because when you are growing, you have to be compliant as well with standards. And mostly because of that, they have these controls in place. So maybe there would be a factor in this.
As the business grows, business grows only when there are more orders, more clients, and whatnot. When you're tendering for more projects, of course, you will come across the project tender documents where they're asking for you need to have Cyber Essentials or ISO 27001 or this or that regulation 9001, 14001, whatnot, right? So they start putting all these controls in place and the mechanisms in place to keep up to these regulations. So that's why you see most businesses have them. But these monitoring tools, I have again an interesting, not a start, but interesting view is, even bigger businesses, it mainly happens in medium and big businesses, is they buy lots of tools, but they don't use them.
Okay.
Not every business, but there are lots of businesses like that. They buy the tool and they configure it initially, and then the tool starts, throwing out all sorts of alerts and whatnot, and they don't have time to respond, and also they don't know what alerts to respond to and what to ignore, and soon enough they don't have the personnel or resources available in house. There were so many. I can think of some vendors, but don't want to mention the names. But tools from these vendors are, dusting in some of these server rooms and whatnot, right? So yeah, cool.
Right. So yeah, the next one again, for under 4 in 10 businesses and a third of charities report being insured against cybersecurity risks. So if you talk about the medium one, 63% and large 55%. So I'm assuming like half and less than half percentage for companies who are interested or who have gained like cyber insurance. So yeah, I think that's a good number, and it has significantly raised from, if we talk about from last year.
Yeah, cyber insurance
Yeah.
is rising a lot, and
Yeah.
especially in the medium-sized businesses, they see it as a risk transfer mechanism.
Yeah.
So yeah, and also now what I heard from the industry was even the insurance companies are now struggling with the number of incidents growing and growing, and insurance companies in turn, they are mandating to have a minimum security bench line, minimum security controls. Now, how many insurance documents we have seen in the last year that they're asking you need to have cyber essentials, or you need to have tabletop exercises, you need to have incident response plan in place. If you have all of them, there are likely chances are your insurance premium might be lower than what it is just now.
Right.
If you don't have them, it definitely will be higher than what it is. And even in some cases, we have actually dealt with a couple of clients where their own insurance company declined to offer cyber insurance to them until something is sorted.
Right.
So yeah.
Okay. So yeah, let's talk about some of the case studies. So ransomware attacks, we talk about it. So NHS one, so Bart's Health NHS Trust, which is the largest health trust in the UK, was hit by a ransomware attack.
Yeah.
And almost 7 TB of sensitive data.
Terabytes, yeah. 7 terabytes is a lot of data, my friend.
Right.
Yeah.
And of course, healthcare data, as you know, confidential data of records of patients and everything.
Gold mine, the gold dust, and the gold dust of information there. Right. Yeah, NHS, if you remember, 6 years ago, well, now in 2024, right? It's 7 years ago. So yeah, back in 2017, they had a Petya attack, Petya ransomware, and about 74 NHS trusts were reduced to pen and paper. Yeah.
So yeah, another one. So basically, OCTA, one of
OCTA.
the latest hacks, identity and access management provider. OCTA itself, many people use it for single sign-on.
OCTA is a cybersecurity company, and it was breached as well. So there is no what's the right word? Yeah, no escape. Sorry. I mean, this proves the point, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing called 100% secure. And I always say when I speak to clients, sometimes they say, hey, yeah, this guy came in and they're saying they'll guarantee 100% secure. Like if somebody guarantees you 100% security, then just turn around and run for the hills. There is nothing like 100% secure. And if it's 100% secure, you can't function. You can't function. You can't do any job properly, right? So it's always risk versus reward. How much risk there is, and how much can you accept, and how much can you minimize. So I think OCTA is no escape for even for a cybersecurity company.
Right. So yeah, so the nation state cyber threats, we have talked about EPTs as well, advanced persistent threats. So if we talk about this, basically Iranian hackers launched a cyber attack against Israel's Raid loan network.
Yeah.
The hackers used a phishing campaign again. So this is interesting. If you think about Stuxnet as well, so they say that there was a USB that was left just outside the main gate, and somebody just put it and just put it in the computer one of those, and the whole system was kind of taken over. So I guess the way that they just start this, that's very interesting. So you see, just with a phishing campaign on the electrical infrastructure, so the Brazilian and UAE companies were also reportedly targeted in the same attack. So yeah.
Since you mentioned Stuxnet, I think the latest finding of the Stuxnet was the guy or the girl, the person who planted that USB in the company, the report believed that they were bribed.
Oh,
So they were bribed to take that USB stick into the company and then plug it in.
okay.
Yeah. So yeah,
Interesting one.
that's an insider threat as well. So that's another attack vector you need to be mindful of. Yeah.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah.
The next one, IoT and smart device security. So again, I think uh, when more and more devices are now connecting with the internet, and
Yes,
of course the data transmission from one to another, we use smartwatches, Alexa, whatever. So with that, basically the threat is already there, and we have to like uh, be prepared for that. And this is just one of those case studies where basically a spear phishing scam was done on Google. So basically, hackers were able to send them fake invoices.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. The business email compromise.
Yeah.
This is the best example of business email compromise. So that business email compromise covers the fake invoices, supplier fraud, all of them come under the umbrella of business email compromise. Either somebody is sending impersonating your supplier's customer, or somebody just sending an invoice at random, or somebody just compromising one of your users' mailbox and then sitting there and then monitoring the mailbox for any outgoing invoices and then changing the bank details and whatnot. So this one is an interesting one, 100 million. Do you know the story behind it?
I just know like a couple of like the fake invoices thing, not the.
Yeah, okay. So the 100 million one is an interesting one because
Right.
the guy, I'm not sure if you know, the guy is called Hush Puppy, right?
Oh, okay.
His Instagram, what is it called? Handle.
Yeah, handle.
Instagram handle is
Instagram.
Hush Puppy, right?
Hush Puppy.
He actually has a verified handle on Instagram, and he had 2.1 million followers.
2.1.
Yeah, and every other photo you see of him on Instagram, he was rolling in with the Rolexes and the Gucci's and the Rolls Royce and the Lamborghinis and whatnot, even the private jets. All his photos were like that, and
Okay.
he was doing this rags to riches stories and whatnot. And then one day the Dubai police, actually it is on YouTube. The whole raid is on YouTube. It's like a proper Hollywood movie stuff, right?
Oh,
They put the whole video on YouTube. If anybody's interested, I can share the link later. But yeah, they raided his house, and what happened was that was the guy behind this 100 million scam. So they arrested him, and now he must be, somewhere in some
in
prison
prison.
somewhere. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, must be rolling his.
So is that account still active?
No, it's suspended now.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's suspended now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, last time I checked, but it was active even 6 months after he was arrested.
Okay.
And then recently I couldn't find it. So yeah,
Right.
yeah, that's the story behind that 100 million guy.
Hush puppies.
Hush puppy, yeah.
Oh. So yeah, the next one, cloud security concerns. Of course, many of the companies have been reported against misconfigurations in cloud. That's what we check in Cyber Essentials as well. So you have to configure it properly, strong passwords, have a good policy, and try to implement that policy as well, just not have it for like documentation purposes. So yeah, that's something.
Yeah, what could go wrong with the cloud configurations? Well, cloud security, mainly the misconfigurations or unauthorized access or
Yeah.
access controls.
Yeah.
We do that with Cyber Essentials, and sometimes companies come to us, hey, can you pen test our cloud environment? Can you pen test our Azure or AWS environment? Not really. So the pen test is not really a pen test, but what we do for cloud environments is it's a configuration review we do,
Right.
and access controls review. And for example, if you give us a user access to one of your applications or one of your cloud environments, and we'll see how we can escalate ourselves to an admin. And if we can do that, that's a bad news for you. At the same time, it's a good news because we found it because before the bad guys found it. So that's kind of thing for the cloud security concern. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, the next one, I think you have talked about it already. So cybersecurity
Yeah, this
workforce
is a
shortage.
real problem.
Right.
If you look at I was reading a couple of other reports, and the common theme was the top concerns for a CISO or a top security professional in a company was the top three concerns. One of them is skill shortage, experience shortage.
Right.
So that is a real concern just now. there are many people with cybersecurity degrees and whatnot,
Yeah.
but how many people available with experience? And when you are hiring for somebody, most of the times you want somebody to come in and hit the ground running, right? So, and also there is other side of the coin where companies look for too much
Too
as
much.
well, right?
Okay.
They are hiring for a cybersecurity analyst, paying them 25K, and then they want CISSP and 5 years experience.
Oh, I've seen
And
those
then they
posts.
complain
Yeah.
about a skill shortage. That's not the skill shortage I'm
Yeah.
talking about, right? So, yeah.
Right. Right. So the next one is regulatory compliance and data protection. So yeah, I think that is another one for organizations. Basically, again, I'll talk about small businesses because they are the ones who are basically just starting out now. And many of them actually face these issues where basically they don't have like the legal aspect. They have some controls, but those are just limited to ID and stuff. So yeah, I think that's a challenge as well.
Yeah. So the next one is the interesting one. What do you think?
Yeah, so AI, uh, Chat GPT, the attacks, they are getting sophisticated.
Yeah.
So uh, I want to mention right now, like if you talk about deep fake or anything, it's basically in its beta version. But if you retrospect or like think about the future, it's getting really scary now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And of course, I think companies need to have some sort of AI policy now as well in their companies where they can actually list down what's the good use of AI and how you can actually mitigate the risks from AI. So yeah, it's interesting.
I have something I wanted to point out.
Yeah.
On Facebook there are ads,
Yeah, of
right?
course. Yeah.
And on these ads recently, I've been noticing like many celebrities promoting these mobile apps and games and stuff,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, are they real or are they deep fake videos? Because there is no way these celebrities are promoting these like really random apps. I mean, if you go onto App Store, they don't even have like 100 reviews.
Right.
You know?
I'm not really sure.
Um, so, and also me and Adam, we went to an event recently,
Right.
and there was a program, I think 11 Labs or something else.
Yeah.
So you can speak in any language, right?
Yeah.
And you upload the video into this AI tool, and if you want to speak in Spanish or German, whatever it is, it will not only translate what you're speaking, it will actually correct your lip movement as well.
Yeah.
So you will look like a proper, speaking German. You won't look like a German, but yeah,
There's another
scary
one.
stuff.
There's another feature because I know 11 Labs, I've kind of used it. So let's say you're reading a script from your screen and
Yeah.
you're looking at that. From that tool, you can basically adjust your eyeballs on the camera as well.
Yes. Yeah.
AI
Yeah,
based.
yeah,
So it will look like you're just looking in the screen,
Yes.
whereas you were reading the script from there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's getting
So
smarter.
as much as AI helps us, the good guys, and at the same time, the same technology, same tools are available for the bad guys as well. So they are using the technology available to make the attacks more sophisticated, more personalized, and now it is getting difficult for us to detect what email is actually genuine and what email is actually trying to impersonate somebody, right? Yeah, so it's a major challenge. And another aspect of AI and this chat GPT and generative AIs and everything is how many of your employees are using them within the business and putting the confidential information in there, right? So uploading a proposal or something and just saying, make it look nice, or
Yeah.
make it speak the numbers or whatever. And who is getting that information at the other end? Who is scraping the information?
Yeah.
So even ChatGPT had a breach, I think last year or something. Yeah. So, and many businesses we're talking to now, they're talking about, right, we need to implement policy for this AI, or policy for ChatGPT. We don't know who using it, who don't know what they're putting in. So we need to have some sort of policy or security mechanism for AI. Yeah.
Right. Sync.
I think we can just skim through the next pages.
Yeah.
What page are we in? Yeah, we are more
15.
than halfway through.
Way through.
From there, this pretty much talks about zero trust,
Yeah.
implementing zero trust as one of the best security mechanisms going forward. Back in the day, we have, I mean, still lots of companies use that perimeter security. Once you're in, you're in. So you're believed to be a trusted person. But now, the whole concept is you are authenticated at every single stage, again and again and again, continuous authentication, continuous verification, continuous trust, so that yeah, so
I think these are some of the good pointers just
yeah,
for
yeah,
businesses. So continuous adaption, again, investment in cybersecurity technologies, collaboration, and employee training and awareness. This is one of the most
oh
important
yeah,
one
yeah,
as well.
that's if not the most important one.
The most important one. Yep. So again, B2B organizations should invest in training programs in order to mitigate potential risks. Again, zero trust architecture, talked about it. So again, trust elimination.
Continuous verification, adaptive access controls is the biggest thing you can
Yeah.
do with especially with the cloud security. If you can get them right, then you're laughing. Otherwise, it's going to be challenging, isn't it? Yeah.
Right. Again, perimeter-based
And now
security.
access control is a mandatory control as a baseline security control for cyber essentials.
Yes. Yes.
So yeah, and that is true for cloud environments.
Right. So yeah, perimeter-based security against zero trust, cyber threats, same concept. So yeah, implementational challenges. So basically, when you are integrating technologies, so like using third-party apps and things like that, I think you need to do your research in that regard as well and
Yeah.
verify things before using them and integrating them, and see what technology like they are using, just like as a forward check, just as check.
Yeah, and what works for your business? Every business is
Exactly.
different, and every business case is different. Use case is different. So yeah,
Yeah.
right.
So
User experience. That's the another one I was talking about. If you user experience, if you have 100%, if you want to achieve 100% security, then it's going to be 0 to 1% of user experience. So it's pretty much unusable. Right.
right. So yeah, talk about AI and ML
I
integration.
think we spoke about it just now.
Yeah.
So how, as I said, how AI and ML are helping us, the good guys, and at the same time, it is helping the bad guys as well. So with the AI coming in, well, it's been there for a long time, but with ChatGPT has elevated that to a next level.
Next.
So
Yeah.
incident response automation is one of the one I'm keen to know more, and it's a very interesting one because AI-driven incident response system, so they can automatically detect and hopefully recover from the incident.
Right. So yeah, these are some of just terms from AI thing. So dynamic threat modeling, everything which is basically AI driven. So that's here. So
Basically, this used to
yeah.
take us, the people, a longer time to come up with this or do the threat modeling and whatnot.
Yeah.
With the AI, just accelerating, so minimizing the time
Yeah.
we spend to come up with
Yeah.
these things. Yeah.
Right. So again, quantum resistance cryptography. So this is a new concept as well. So basically, right now, if we talk about our infrastructure in the internet, basically it revolves around PKI, which is public key infrastructure.
Yeah.
So with quantum, basically it's getting under threat because you can break the PKI keys using quantum because it's really fast. When we talk about RSA, which is like a reverse Shamir algorithm, we use it for many different cybersecurity principles like digital signatures or implementing authentication or anything. Almost all of the things that we do in our online world are basically based on cryptography. So this is also a threat to cryptography as well, and it's rising now. So yeah, we need to take that into account as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, this is the same thing, factorization vulnerability that I just talked about. So basically in cryptography, I won't go too much into technical stuff because it's kind of bore, but then again, factorization is basically your key. If that key can be segmented into two different factors, basically you can just get the private key as well. So if you have the private key, you have everything. So yeah, that's one thing. So this one is the algorithm.
So if you have someone's private key, so you own their life.
Of course,
That's it.
of course, yeah. Of
Right.
course. So again, urgency of quantum resistance cryptography. And okay, so
this is all
yeah,
Bill
theory,
Buchanan stuff.
Bill Buchanan. Right. So yeah. So again, I think ransomware landscape, we talked about it, IoT security challenges, regulatory impact.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just brings us to our conclusion. So basically, as organizations navigate, it's imperative now that you implement these strategies and just make sure you don't lag behind when the context is changing so fast.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, and I read somewhere that only so 20% of the IT departments are spending about 12% of their IT budget on cybersecurity just now.
Oh, okay.
And I think that's going to grow a lot and a lot more as the companies evolve into this digital transformation using more adapting to more cloud technologies and whatnot, right? Okay, so with that, we'll close here.
Yeah.
And we'll open up for any questions.
Yep.
Right. So let's see if anybody has a question. Should I stop sharing? All right. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so questions you can either send us in the chat or you can just raise your hand and we'll enable your mic, or you can enable your mic and then just ask away. Somebody is typing. Okay.
So back in school days, we used to see a topic to write an essay, technology a blessing or a curse. Now the topic has changed to AI a blessing or a curse.
What do you think? What do you think, Manish? Is it a blessing or a curse?
Well, it really depends how it is being utilized or accessed
Sorry, we
by
can,
the user.
hardly hear you. Give me a second. Give me a second.
Can you hear me?
What's happening here? Right. Okay. Yeah, go on, Manish.
Can you hear me?
I think so. Yeah, go on.
Is that better?
Better, yes.
Okay, thank you. So I was just thought of this from back old school days. We used to see that topic as an essay, and of course, from AI perspective, it really depends on the perspective, who is using it, or who it is being made available to use it, and from what perspective they are looking at it to help them find solutions to their problems, or whether someone is misusing it by posing a harm to an organization or an individual. So yeah, I mean, there are both sides of the coin to AI as well. But I'm sure with all these security professionals and security companies, they will help and help all the organizations and individuals to understand how to use it and basically make the most of it and stop the threat actors to put anyone at harm.
Absolutely, Manish, I agree with you. So whenever there is a new tool or new technology, something revolutionary comes in, right? There is, as you rightly said, there are two sides of the coin. You know, if there is only good, why would we be here? We're all out of job, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
So when the computer was invented, when the computer came along, many people thought, oh, the computer is here, when it's going to take our jobs and whatnot. And it was the same question at the time. Was it a blessing or a curse, right? So we see how much we have evolved now. We are all, holding a computer in our pocket now, which could back in the day, the same power could have sent a satellite to the moon, right? So yeah, and at the same time, there are bad guys using for bad stuff. So AI is going to be the same thing, and good guys have to evolve and then, protect.
Yeah,
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 absolutely.
and we have to win every single time.
Yeah.
The good
yeah,
guys.
exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you.
It's both, right? So okay.
So Ashley has a question. What are your views on the government in the UK commitment to safeguarding businesses and the public on continual cybercrime? Do other countries do it better?
Do other countries do it better? I don't think so. We're all fighting the same fight, and we're all facing the same problems. And in fact, at least UK has introduced a government-backed certification for businesses, which is Cyber Essential.
Yeah.
And they have action fraud, and they have so many other mechanisms. But if you think about it, the bad guys keep evolving, and UK is in the top 5 of the uh, most cyber attacks in the world. And that doesn't, I mean, some of these attacks or some of this social engineering, some of these phone calls, I know comes from the countries we all know
Yeah.
of. I am from one of those countries. And even India as well is in the top 5 list of most cyber incidents. So there are two parts to your question. Are other countries do better? I think everybody is fighting the same fight. And is the UK government doing commitment to safeguarding businesses? I think yes, they are doing their best. And also now the one thing we haven't mentioned in the conversation is if you are tendering for any public sector work, you must meet a mandatory security control now. And also even the government is starting to push that down to private sector as well. Many private sector companies and insurance companies now asking you to comply with a mandatory baseline security controls. So it's not going to happen overnight, but we are going to evolve. And at the same time, bad guys are going to evolve, but we just need to be one step ahead of them. Barry, sorry,
We have
George,
one from George
yeah.
Francis. So 2 questions. First one is, what's the single most effective step a business can take to improve their security posture when budget resource might be a restrictive factor?
What I would say is, this is a very good question. It was asked a number of times in our past, well, at least a couple of times in our past events, right? When the budget is a limiting factor, look at what skills do you have in-house and what can you achieve with your in-house skills, right? For example, the baseline basic security controls like implementing two-factor authentication, or I am deploying a password manager, or a strong password policy and whatnot, or deploying a policy to check your supply chain,
Yeah.
and access controls and things like that, patch management and whatnot. All this stuff, um, most of the companies can do in-house.
Yeah.
And by doing them, you're already improving your security by miles. And then from there onwards, if you go a step further, right? Okay, you want to do, I don't know, penetration testing, some threat intelligence or threat modeling or maturity assessments, tabletop exercises, or any cloud security review and stuff like that. Then you may or may not have the skills. When the budget is restrictive again, you want to look at what's the top priority, what's the top risk for your business, and let's try to mitigate that one first, and then look at the others later. So that's what I would say. Now look at the skills in house, available skills, and what can you achieve. Like Tesco says, every little helps. Yeah. So what are the most important steps for an organization to take following a breach?
Yeah, so the first step I think is identification, like what basically is wrong, like, and then try to find the source of that, how it happened.
Yeah.
And
So
then-
I'm just trying to understand the question. Is it like during the breach or after the breach, right?
Yeah.
So during the breach, you want to identify the incident as soon as possible, the source, and then contain the incident, and then try to recover, and then do the lessons learned after, right? And after the incident, that's what I was talking, right? Lessons learned. Do what happened,
Yeah.
how it happened, how could it have been prevented, right? And most of the times it's what we have seen. I know there are news, CPA attack and Arnold Clark attack and all these attacks.
Yeah.
But if you look at the sources for all these attacks, most of them are starting from a phishing email.
Yeah.
So how can you prevent? How can you educate your staff? Just look at how it happened. But what I'm saying is, from our experience, most of it is starting from one common source, which is email. So how can you prevent? That's what I would do. Lessons learned is the single most important step. Yeah.
Right.
After an incident. Yeah.
Got it. So next one is from Barry. How can organizations find the right balance between respecting user privacy and effective cybersecurity measures?
What do you think?
Mm, I'm not
Respecting
sure.
user privacy and
Yeah.
effective cybersecurity measures, right?
Right.
So where are you intruding user privacy? With what controls?
Right.
What sort of security controls, including the user privacy? Are you looking to deploy two-factor authentication, and are you asking your users to use their personal mobile, or are you deploying company emails on their personal mobile? Or because you have a company email on the personal mobile, are you trying to monitor their company mobile? That's when the user privacy comes into place. Until that point, you're not having access to any of the user information, right? So I'm just trying to think, where are the users bringing in their personal information into the business? Yeah.
Right.
If you're doing that, then I would have a clear policy of and clear expectations of what you're monitoring with the user information and what you're not, right? Yeah, acceptable usage policy. Yeah,
Yeah.
perhaps.
They said
Yeah,
it
again,
clear.
BYOD, right? So personal mobile is a big one. Yeah, BYOD. So some companies may be asking, yeah, bring your own laptop or use your own laptop to do this, to do that. And in that case, what IT department might be saying, oh yeah, if they're bringing in their own laptop, we want to put our own, EDR, so what is EDR software, antivirus
Yeah.
software in layman terms, antivirus software or some sort of monitoring software, right? Now, are you going to monitor users' personal applications, right? So that's where it comes in, that's where you need to have clear policies written and get the user buy-in. Yeah.
Right. Do you have any other one?
As long as you set the expectations correct,
Yep.
then you should be fine. Yeah.
I think those are all. Do you have any other?
What other questions? We can encourage somebody to ask
Yeah.
questions. Sai.
Yeah.
You have any questions? Right. No, only.
I can throw one.
Yeah,
Like,
go on.
if we can talk about remote businesses, companies are now moving to remote.
Yes.
There's a growing trend.
Yeah.
So how do they basically implement cybersecurity measures when they are working from home? Like, what advice would you give them to start with? Like, who are very new companies, just working remotely?
So there are two things, right? So if is the company providing the equipment, or are you expecting the user to bring their own equipment?
Okay.
If you're expecting the user to bring in their own equipment,
Yeah.
then go with my previous advice. Like, you should have a clear policy. You should have a clear, acceptable usage policy, internet usage policy, or BYOD policy, right? BYOD policy might say, whatever the device you're bringing in, we expect you to have these standard bench line,
Right.
these controls in place or these software in place, and whatever if you're installing some dodgy stuff and
Right.
at the same time accessing the company information, we don't expect you to do that, right?
Right.
So if you look at a LastPass breach,
Yeah.
that's what happened. A developer,
Personal computer.
personal computer was breached. It was actually a Plex TV software.
Yeah.
They exploited the bug in the Plex TV software,
Yeah.
and in the end, they got the whole keys to the kingdom. Excuse me. And luckily, LastPass password database is encrypted, so they couldn't do much. But on the other side, if you are providing the devices to these remote users, then I would suggest having a standard build as in standard operating system build
Okay.
for all your stuff, right? And this standard build would have all your applications already preloaded, and you
Right.
just, when you buy the laptop, when you buy the device, you just deploy it. So it wipes out all the existing
Settings and
bloatware and everything, and then you just go with your standard build. And as soon as the user switches on, then everything is connected. Then you're in control. Yeah.
Perfect. Makes sense. So yeah, we have a question from Sandeep. How do we ensure that all employees are consistently trained and updated on the latest cybersecurity threats and best practices?
Yeah, just buy a couple of baseball bats and then go around the company. No, I'm joking. So There are lots of mechanisms, right? Depending on the size of the business. We always advise the most efficient method is to go for the, computer-based online training. If whatever the training you're providing, make sure it's fun, engaging, and entertaining, and also it's short and sweet. We see lots of companies struggling where they say, usually when we drill down to the problem, we ask them, oh, how often do you train your staff? Once in a year, once in 6 months. How long is the training? Oh, 1 hour. Right? And most of the times it doesn't work like that. And you want to train your staff consistently. The breaches, the attacks don't happen once in a year or once in 6 months. The attacks usually happen almost every single day, but they're only successful once in a while. So you want to train your staff consistently. There are loads of online tools available for training. And at the same time, once you train your staff, you can try to fish them, simulate the phishing attacks, not to catch them out, but to measure the effectiveness of your training. So, but if you need help, come to us. Yeah, Abrar will guide you. Right, let's go. We have 2 minutes left, and Barry has a question.
I think the Barry ones is quite similar to what Sandeep asked. How are cybersecurity professionals sharpening their skills? I think we can move to the second one. And what skills are high in demand in the job market?
What skills are high in demand in the job market, right? Technical skills and the soft skills. So let's go to the first part of the question, right? What skills? So it really depends on the business. Yeah, as I was saying earlier, somebody asking for a junior security analyst or a security analyst for 25K and expecting them to have 5 years experience and a CISSP certification. I'm like, do you really need it? CISSP certification? So it really depends on the business. What tools and what technology stack are you using, and what is the threat, and and how do you prevent it, and what sort of skills you need. Sometimes you may just need the skills on how to manage your vulnerabilities, vulnerability management skills, sometimes EDR skills, and implementing policies, implementing password policies and internet usage policies and whatnot, and just configuring two-factor authentication, or maybe just looking into your Office 365 logs, skills like that. These are easy to gain as well. Yeah. What are high in demand? The basic security analyst roles, just as I said, looking at the policies and reviewing them, configuring some monitoring, configuring some conditional access or auditing in Office 365. These are high in demand. And as you dig deeper, then you have penetration testing skills, you have
Incident
management
response.
skills, leadership skills, incident response, but they are more specialized skills as well. Yeah, so
Right.
if this question can be seen from two aspects: somebody in the business asking this question, which is Barry doing just now, and also it can be seen as it can be asked from somebody who is looking for a job, right? And
Right.
it can be answered from both aspects. Yeah.
Perfect. So we have another one from Libby. She says, how are frameworks evolving to keep pace with the changing cyber threat landscape, considering the rise in threats as technology and AI develops? Basically, frameworks, how are they evolving?
I think frameworks are evolving at the same pace as well. If you look at NIST or ISO 27001, ISO 27001, most recent one is now 2023 version. And the NIST is, I think they have a latest version out as well. The NIST framework, NIST cybersecurity framework, and MITRE ATT&CK as well. It's now 3.0 or something. Yeah, so they are keeping up, I believe. Yeah. And we have to, as I said, good guys, we have to be one step ahead. Otherwise, who's going to save us?
Sure. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. Do we have any other questions, guys?
No?
No, not really. I think we need
All right,
to
brilliant.
wrap up.
Thank you everyone for joining us today. You will receive the report we just shown you after this call. And thanks for the questions. We really appreciate your support. Yeah.
Yeah. Just hoping this would be insightful for all of you and looking forward to the next one.
Right. How many we have, right? Apart from Libby and Sandeep. So should we do this again?
Answer this very.
Yeah, just say yes or no. I know you will be polite and say yes, but
Barry says yes.
Barry
Manoj
says yes. But Barry would like to see us more often.
Ren says yes. Ashley says yes.
Actually, oh wow. Yeah, George. Brilliant. Great job, guys. Thank you. Yes.
Thanks, Adam.
Adam will do this more often for you. Yes, Ashley, double yes. Right, okay.
Perfect. So we have good response.
I think we should do this again. Yeah, maybe make it happen every quarter or something.
Right.
Right, okay, anyway, I know you're all busy guys, so, and girls. Right, thank you so much.